Good morning and welcome to Live with Chris, an interview podcast where we can learn and grow together. I am your host, Chris Oviedo, and I want to thank you for staying with me today. April is Community College Month, and the latest Community College Economic Impact Analysis shows that an additional $8.7 billion were pumped into our state's economy in fiscal year 2018-2019, which translates to increased lifetime earnings for students, a larger pool of skilled workers for employers, higher tax revenue for state and local jurisdictions, and a better appeal for new and relocating businesses to come to Maryland. And to further explore the impact of our 16 community colleges and the impact that they have in the neighborhoods, what it means to us, and what we care and should care about community colleges, my guest today is the executive director at Maryland Association of Community Colleges, Dr. Brad Phillips. And Dr. Phillips brings over 20 years of experience in higher education policy. He has been serving as MAC's executive director since July 1st, 2021. And, I'd like to open our conversation today just by understanding, first of all, what is MAC's mission and what is your goal as the current executive director? Thank you for joining me this morning and welcome to our show.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, for having me join the show. I'm delighted. It's a pleasure to be here, especially to talk about community colleges during this month of Community Colleges Month. So, again, my name is Brad Phillips. I'm the executive director for the Maryland Association. And MAC, for short, is an association that represents the collective voice of Maryland's community colleges at a state level. We're here for all policy decisions. We work on all the community colleges' operating budgets, the capital budgets for the new buildings that you have on your campuses and the renovations going on all 16 of the community colleges, as well as other policy issues regarding financial aid. And also, I'm just trying to think of what we have going forward this year. We're working on funding for waivers for homeless youth and students with disabilities and all sorts of different things. So we come together, and every month we talk with all the presidents and we get a understanding of what the policy position will be. And then we work to sort of help carry that forward to the legislature or the governor or the state's regulatory authority, the Maryland Higher Education Commission. So it's a really a fun job in a lot of ways, and a lot of opportunities to make a difference for community colleges.
You just mentioned something that really caught my attention because I don't think that people, when we think of community colleges, we think of the place where we go and study. Like I go to community college if I want to further my career. But here you just talked about homeless students. You just talked about students who may have disabilities. You talked about barriers that not necessarily apply only to students, but to our community in general. So, with that in mind, I mean, I would like for you to help us maybe expand our idea of what a community college means
Sure.
to you as the executive director of MAC.
Well, and that's great follow-up, because I believe, and my goal here at MAC is to really bring home the point that as a society, we have to start thinking about our ability to thrive economically, socially, politically, as being directly linked with educational attainment. And for so many people in our communities, there's still significant barriers to access, inequality, and we're trying to tear those down so that we can actually help lift the state's economic potential to its full ability to grow and help all of us, not just those that are able to navigate the higher education landscape. And that involves really taking the time to focus on displaced populations, underserved populations, people who have stopped out. A lot in the community, it's really interesting. If you think about a community college student, on average, the age of a community college student on average is 24. So what that's telling you already is that there's a lot of students that do not go directly out of high school to work on post-secondary educational opportunities. They stop out and then they come back, and it's in a tough period in their lives to actually go part-time, have families, and to really try to make their lives better by getting some type of credential. So we really have to think about this at a statewide level as to the way we can integrate policy decisions to help us at the local and community level.
How important and how great to hear that, at the heart of this organization that's out there looking out for all community colleges, we really are trying to understand our students, who our students are at the community colleges, and how to better serve them, right? Not just at the college, but like at a
Yes.
state level. And this is exactly where I want to go with our conversation because, I said at the beginning, community colleges add $8.7 billion to our local economy, right? What does this mean, right? Because maybe somebody's thinking, we have four-year schools. We have all of these opportunities. Education is important for us to keep moving forward. Maybe somebody doesn't understand. I know that there's a lot of stigma around community colleges. They're looked down in the higher education world, and I want to break that. I really want to break that, and I want to bring what that 8.7 billion means to my neighborhood, right? To my family, to my household. I want people to really get to see the value, the importance of supporting community colleges, and what those $8.7 billion that it brings into Maryland, what that looks like and what that feels like that maybe we are not aware of.
Well, and economies, they're regional. They're not all the same across the state. There's different needs in Howard County, Montgomery County, Baltimore County than there are in Somerset or Cecil County or Garrett. And each of these colleges are contributing to their economic workforce needs in their area. And they're the people that work on your computers. They're the people who fix your cars. They're the people who do your HVAC work. But there are also students that are looking to further their educational attainment and transfer. They're nurses, they're teachers. There are all sorts of different people within your community that you cannot help but be touched by every day when you go out into your environment. It's a huge contribution that we make to Maryland's economy. But you know what? I think that it's just I think there's more. I think there's room for us to do a lot more than what this economic impact statement is suggesting. Part of the problem, I think, with when we come to Annapolis is there's a sort of unconscious bias as to how higher education fits in with the linear path of a person from say elementary to primary to secondary. And there's this assumption that they go directly into college right after high school. And that's not the case. And we really want to emphasize that, when you look at the economic value of a community college, it's, yes, we're helping students that are savvy, that are able to access a much more affordable educational opportunity right after high school. But it's also the adult learners that we're really providing a tremendous service for, getting them credentialed and getting them some type of degree or some type of licensure that will help them actually prosper and grow in their own line of work. And that's a real big emphasis that we try to help the legislature understand and try to think about how we fit into the landscape of post-secondary education. And for students out
You know,
there, I think you really ought to think, oh, go ahead, Chris.
no, go speak to our students, please.
Well, I just wanted to say for students, an economic impact analysis can be a little bit off-putting, but I want your students and everybody listening to understand, for you, if you're thinking about it, you don't have to necessarily think about the return on investment, but that's something that you should be thinking about. But if you do not further your educational attainment and you're thinking about it, there will be no growth. And our graduates on average earn about $10,000 more dollars a year than if they did not. And, when you think about the current times that we live in with inflation, just it costing us $2,500 more to live the same life we lived last year, you really ought to think about what's best for you and moving forward and just going for your educational goals.
Absolutely. And as the mother of a senior myself, right? I have a senior daughter. I want to speak to as parents because I talked about that stigma and Brett, I thank you so much for helping us really unpack, right? And understand that it's not we wait until that senior year some parents maybe do start looking, in ninth grade, but there is that expectation. There is that idea. There is that competition almost, right? Of where's your child
Right.
gonna go? What's your child gonna do after he or she graduates? And if we're not going to one big school, if there's not a set path that has a big name attached to it, as a parent, there's this fear, there's this feeling of, I don't know, maybe my child is not as successful. There's all of this negative connotations when we should be proud and saying, you know what, my child's actually going to stay with us. He's going to go to community college. He's going to study local. He's or she is going to maybe find out exactly what he or she really wants to do, explore that. We're going to save money. I mean, there's all of these great benefits of staying local. It's going to be in a smaller classroom where, she can or he can develop relationships with the teachers, really understand the difference between having 3 or 4 college courses, right? That for parents ourselves, many times is like, you're not doing a lot. You had 7 classes and now you're only doing 3 or 4. What's happening? Like, even as a parent, to get in that mentality of what being a college student is and remembering what that felt like, right? And just because we only have a small or shorter workload doesn't mean that we have less work to do. So it's an adjustment for parents, for students. And I agree so much with you. It starts with, our small children. It starts with our parents. It really starts in the elementary level of education, getting rid of that bias and really resetting our mindsets around what higher education is, looks like, feels like, and understanding that not everybody's ready to go into that 4-year school. Um, we could talk a full hour just on that, but we only have a short amount of time here. Another thing that added into this dynamic of higher education this year was COVID. Right, we had COVID come and really change the way that the world really worked for the last couple of years. We are looking at the post COVID, and I say that very loosely, the post COVID
Yeah.
market, right? And what that looks like. And I mean, so many people lost their jobs, so many people quit their jobs. We're reopening again. Working from home is now something that a lot more people are requesting. It's a very different market today. How are our community colleges, Brad, supporting employers? Because employers maybe were not ready for this, right? Entrepreneurs, people who decided they wanted to quit their jobs or they had to lose their jobs, right? And start their own businesses, and just job seekers in general. What opportunities are out there that community colleges can support every aspect, in whatever it is that people are today?
That is a very good question, and a lot in higher ed believe that the pandemic has created an inflection point for higher education, not just for community colleges, but for all four-year institutions, public and private as well. And I will say that since the beginning of the pandemic, the entire nation has lost about 1 million students, have lost, just not enrolled. And what I can also say that usually when there's an economic downturn, um, jobs are lost, but the jobs that come back require some type of post-secondary beyond high school. And I think that part of that inflection point is the realization for a lot of people at some level that when they feel safe or when they feel like they're able to go back and further their education, it's going to be more of a must versus I'll think about it. And it's sort of, if you're still on the fence, this is a great opportunity to dip your toe at the community college. You don't have to pay for the residency and the dormitory and all of that. You can take a few courses, see how successful you are, and kind of continue to work on your advancing your education. It's only going to help you going forward after this pandemic. And we really have to think about, don't take this time off. You can still earn and move towards your educational goals. The workforce is going to shift. It's going to be different. You're going to be there'll be new jobs that we haven't even imagined yet that are going to be in our future. But the one thing that I think is a safe bet based on prior past examples, that after every economic downturn, whatever it may caused it, the jobs that come back require some type of additional educational advancement beyond high school.
And to that point, there's exciting things happening. So I know that here in Maryland, Governor Hogan recently announced that many of the jobs in state are not going to require a 4-year degree anymore, right? And that, but he is looking for it. What you were saying, Brad. Expertise, competence, like all of these other things. So there's great opportunities. I think it's exciting. It's different. It's maybe intimidating for some, what the job market is doing. But if you have the right partners with you, which in this case are the community colleges here in Maryland, um, you don't have to navigate it by yourself. You can prepare yourself and you can go confidently and step right into that and succeed. One of the barriers, though, for many is finances, right? Like I want to further my education, but the financial aspect of it is stopping me from doing it. So, how are our community colleges supporting that, understanding that, realizing that that is a barrier, that is a very real barrier for many, and how are we stepping in and saying, you know what, we want you to become a professional, we want you to be successful, we are here to help you.
That's a very good question, and it is the biggest barrier for a lot of our students. It's really about how are we going to pay for it? How are you going to be able to access your educational goals? And you look at the cost, and you immediately might feel intimidated and think about all the student loan debt and all the other people that have taken out money and how that's really not helped at a four-year institution. We've really worked hard in the past couple of years to really improve access, really shifted the way that we think about financial aid for students. Pell has been increased. And one of the biggest programs that we've really been focused on as of late is the Maryland Community College Promise Program. This is really what it means. It's a promise that if you're willing to go to work towards your goal, the state's there up to $5,000 to help you pay for your education. So don't be intimidated by the sticker price. Go to your financial aid office at Howard Community College or wherever you may be, and they will work with you to show you that, yes, you can actually attain your educational goals. It's not out of reach, and you can afford it. I mean, the Promise program, if you have a family member that makes, if you're married and your child wants to go, you can make up to $150,000 and still receive the award. So it's not your typical need-based program. You're able to access state financial resources beyond what you would normally be eligible for in the need-based financial aid realm. So there are opportunities, there's legislative scholarships, there are need-based state aid grants, there's specific unique populations, financial opportunities, as well as just institutional aid that you might not know you're eligible to receive. So please make an appointment with your financial aid office and see what you're eligible to get.
Brad, I also want to talk to, because I know right now we're talking to those who may be just looking to further their careers. But as we said, COVID came and it really shifted and the market in so many ways. And for many people, it made them take a leap of faith and maybe they're switching
Mm-hmm.
careers, right? It also created opportunities. I know here at HCC we offer apprenticeships, and I know that that has become a really big thing. I want you to talk to those, and we already said, right, that we call them non-traditional students. I was a non-traditional student. I was already a mom. I already had a mortgage on me when I came back to school. I was working full time. So I've been there, right? And I know what it feels like to step into the classroom knowing that most likely people sitting there are going to be 5, 10 years younger than you, right? So I understand that. I lived, that was my lived reality. So I want you to talk to those students like me who maybe have been in a career, COVID came and they're seeing this as the opportunity to maybe switch, right? Some of those other opportunities, other ways in which community colleges can support that. Those other, you talked about having this idea of getting a 2 year certificate and what that means, how you can be ready after coming to a community college for 2 years, you can be ready to go and make your career. You don't have to farther it right there and then. You could later, but not at that moment. So I think incentivize us because we need to hear that we can continue to move forward, and the community colleges are there exactly to do that, to help us, to push us, to meet us where we are, support us where we are, and be that what it was for me. It was hope. It was, it was the way to attain my dream. It was the way to reconnect with my goals and to move towards that.
Oh, Chris, this is the great example that I was looking for, because I would like to say that you were not the non-traditional student. And that's sort of the misnomer, that you're actually the traditional student in the state of Maryland. The majority of students going to community colleges, trying to figure out what they want to become. It doesn't have to be right after high school in a career pathway, or I mean in a credit program towards a four-year degree. It's really your story. That is the majority of people accessing post-secondary in Maryland. And it's really a testament to one of the greatest achievements of the modern community college, is this workforce development model that you spoke of, that we have licensures, that we have apprenticeship opportunities. There's some tremendous ones at your college that really will pay you to and credential you. At the same time, you're in their apprenticeship program. There's just tremendous opportunities all across the board, whether it be in career pathways, stackable credentials, apprenticeships, licensure, certifications. There's also ways to move from non-credit into credit if you want to continue to work on your educational goals. And we do work with a number of industry and businesses to make sure that there's opportunities for people that go in the allied health fields to sort of stack on sort of credentialing as they move forward, maybe even towards getting their BSN. So there's all sorts of opportunities for people that are willing to take a shot at bettering their life, making a greater income, having that middle-class lifestyle by just doing an apprenticeship or a certification or a licensure. So just that is the story and the success of community colleges.
So you can do it. I did it. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's work. I if I can share a little bit of my story, the first semester I came back, I took one credit class because I was intimidated and I did not know how I was going to make it work. Working full time, mother at that time, I think of just one at the time, having a family that I was trying to grow. There was a lot going on in my life, but I knew that I wanted to further my education. I knew that if I wanted to achieve certain goals in my life, I needed to have my education with me. And so community college was the first place, right here at Howard, actually, where I came, and one credit class. Wasn't sure how I was going to do it. By the time, I took a couple of semesters like that with just one class, I was like, okay, I don't want to be in school forever either. So let me go ahead and accelerate. I ended up taking about 7 classes. I got 2 associate degrees. I transferred to a four-year school. So I did all of that with the support of the community college, of my community college, the inspiration really of the mentors here, and everybody who works over there in our building, and just mentors our students and has that conversation with you and helps you decide, okay, this is what you want to do, this is what you need to do, this is all the support that we can provide you with. But it's really up to us. So that's my message for everybody today. Community colleges are a great educational place. They are your partners in education. We want to meet you where you are. That was my experience. We want to listen to you. We want to hear your story. We want to know how we can support you. And like we just heard from Brad, all colleges here in Maryland are really focused on that and understanding the barriers, helping us break those barriers, finding the supports, and pushing us towards our careers. Brad, what message would you like to leave everybody who's listening and watching this morning?
Well, just the rate of return on what you just described and the rate of return on an associate's degree. I believe with our economic impact analysis, it was 17.5% over the course of your earning years, which is more than the stock market average in the same period of time, which was around 9.9%. And the message really is that community colleges are the best tool for you as a person, as well as the state. And this is the argument that I make with the legislature, to create economic and social mobility in people, giving them new opportunities, allowing them to provide more to the economy, create more tax revenue. It's just the best thing we can do as a state, support each other, help each other, provide financial incentives to get more people that have been left behind to get their educational goals met, which will help everybody. It'll help everybody at the highly selective institutions and employers that are hiring in the state. It's just one of the best tools that we have, and what makes me really proud to work for the community colleges, just helping people that have been left behind access educational goals and dreams. So that's what I would say.
So go to your community college. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, go to your community college, talk to them today, see how they can help you. Find out all the different ways. We talked about the 2-year school, we talked about the certificates, we talked about the transferring, we talked about apprenticeships. Once you're in school, we have internships. There's so many opportunities. A community college is really the right partner for you to further your career. Brad, where can we continue to keep up with Mac, with what you're doing, and make sure that that message is heard, in the legislature? How can we support our community colleges, and how can we connect with you?
You can follow us along on, I think, almost every social media platform. We have a presence. Look for the Maryland Association of Community Colleges. We also have a website where you can engage and see what we're following and tracking as far as legislative priorities. But I think the best thing you can do is just speak with your local elected officials, whether they be the county executive or your state delegate or your state senators. You have great representation at Howard County. They are big friends of community colleges, but let them know your story. Your story does make a difference for us here in Annapolis. To have that personal connection and see the difference that they're making in the community by investing in community colleges is one of the best things you can do. That would be my message.
And to your point, Brad, and to close our conversation, I talked about all of this billions, right? And maybe that seems overwhelming. But when you break it down, it really comes back to the fact that every 33 jobs here in our community, one of them is being directly affected by a community college. So that's the impact in our neighborhoods. Most likely, if you go down 32 other houses from yours, at least one of them is affected and is impacted positively by a community college. So thank you everybody for listening, for watching. I hope you will share this information. I hope you will take action. I hope you will tell your story. I hope you will, do what Brad just said, and really feel inspired to support our community colleges. I hope you will consider us that partner for credit, for non-credit. In the summer here at HCC, we have Kids on Campus. I mean, there's really, an abundance of support, of an abundance of offerings for everybody. So come check us out, check out your community college, and support us. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.